Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? What's going on? Holla at your boy. Salute to all the members. Red Jones, I see you. Bobby Ramos in the building. Well, today is the day. Let's see how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how this goes. I shall be right back. Salute, salute. What's going on? We in the building. Bobby Ramos, appreciate you. Salute to the members. Kenzo's in the building. Sharonda, what's going on? Turn this down a little bit. How my sound sounding? Mic. Audio good? Salute, Kenzo. Salute. Yeah, so today we're gonna do our first official organized panel. We got one of the panelists, Kenzo. Salute, Kenzo. Check your messages. So today we're gonna talk about Iran and everything that go along with it. Now, I touched on this topic pause a couple of lives ago, but it was a short live, so people was telling me, I should talk about this again. So here we go. A couple people said they wanted to participate in the conversation. I reached out to them. So I'm just waiting for them to hit the link or pop up so we get started. But besides that, any questions, any comments? Copy. Let's see, who's this? Oh, that's Sharonda. Salute to all the members in the building. Appreciate y'all. Well, like I said, man, I don't know too much about this. So I'm gonna wait for the panelists to pop up. And, we'll open up the discussion. Hold on, let me So anyway, what y'all got any questions, any comments, anything y'all want to say before we get started? Just me, Sunshine. Salute to all the members and the mods. Mods is members, members is mods. Oh, I did hear though that they didn't hit the nuclear target. They didn't hit the target. I don't know if that's true. I heard that somebody said that the missile strike attacks wasn't successful, or one of them wasn't successful. Something like that. I heard something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure though. Anybody hear anything about that? Yeah, man. So I don't know. We'll see. And I did hear that it has something to do with Israel too. So as I said, I'm waiting for my panelists to pop up. So in the meantime, in between time, I'll at your boy. We back. We back. Chilling. Salute. Check your messages. Chilling. You know what we did. And that was before the rumors. Oh, wow. Okay, okay. Well, we got the inside scoop. Yeah, right. Okay, okay. So Trump is saying that we were successful, but people are saying that it wasn't successful. Okay, okay. I know I heard something like that. Okay, okay, Chillin, I got you. Yeah, I know I heard something like that. Okay, okay. So it's just rumors that we didn't hit the target. All right. Yeah, a lot of people talk about World War III. I don't know. Listen, man. People talk about sleeper cells in America. Um, as I said, I don't know too much about it, but we got our panelist, first panelist, Kenzo. Salute.
Yo, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? What's going on, my brother?
Not much.
So I was asking did you hear about that we didn't hit our mark with the missile strike?
I did hear you say that just as I was coming up. I was hearing something about that. I haven't heard like anything else since, but they were saying that we didn't exactly knock them out of nuclear capabilities.
Mm. Oh, so they still got the materials.
That's where it kind of gets confusing for me because it's both us and Israel felt like they were celebrating something big for them to now be well on second thought.
Right. So where is this coming from? Online, or where is this like rumor coming from?
I'm personally, I seen it coming from the left. I would say more than anything.
What that would be like? What, the Democrats?
The Democratic Party, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of weird because it's like, at what point, what would the president need to do to get a win on from them? If we're saying even as your thumbnails states, Iran can't have a nuke, that has been stated by multiple presidents going back to the 90s since Clinton. So it's like, they're kind of closest. Trump makes an action and it's still not good enough. I feel like what would it take maybe for somebody on the left to acknowledge something good?
Right, right. That's I don't know, man. That's kind of that's because um if we didn't hit the mark, it's like that was just a waste of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it like gave away our surprise, took away the surprise.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, the
But
element of surprise is gone now.
now, if we did hit the target, that is petty to even put that. Like, I mean, I know we can't be that divided. You know what I'm saying? Because we are the country
I
at
feel
the
that
end.
we may be. I think we are that divided.
That don't make no sense to me, man.
It's crazy. Like I said, I can understand if this is uh, as with immigration and other things, these things have opposing sides. But I think most people understand Iran having a nuke. This is a country that may drop a bomb on some religion based. I think that's what a lot of the worry is. There's no, they believe in certain things that maybe the Western countries don't.
Right, like I know what you mean, like a zealot or something. It's not
With
about
martyrism and things like that,
right.
I don't think is it a quote fair fight? Probably not, because if you're getting someone from the Western world where we're taught, your life is everything and your freedom, and then you have somebody that in their mind has no freedom, and they're fighting for, if I were to be a casualty, then I'm going to go to heaven with Allah and 72 virgins and whatever the other promises. And, the guy on the other side's just fighting for country. Is it going to be a fair matchup?
Right. Even not even country. Sometimes it's about the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, you're right. Crook, salute.
And we've seen that with World War II as well, right? With kamikaze pilots.
Right. Crook, if you're trying to hit the link, let me know. I'll drop the link for you. Yeah, but it's more it's more dangerous, like if it was for country, or even more dangerous is if it's for like God or religion, like, you know what I'm saying? So I can understand that.
The opposing side still has reasons to live. If I'm being promised my 72 virgins in heaven, it would probably behoove me to do this and lose my life. Like, okay, I'm here where life is hard. I do this one last thing, and I could be where life is easy and beautiful, and I'm with a God. And
yeah, not to mention, a lot of those people, lost families and from casualties. So it's very complicated when it comes to this thing right here. But at the end of the day, like, we are America, and this is our home. So, good, bad, ugly, like, we gotta stick together on, things. This, you feel what I'm saying?
I've been trying to say that to folks. I'm like, all right, I understand with the internet. If me and you have a problem here on the internet, I can block you, and then you don't exist anymore. Well, that doesn't work in the real world. We have to find a way to live. I've been trying to say that to people. Like, we got to find a way to live together. The extreme right and the extreme left have to live with each other.
Copy, Crook. Yo, John, check your messages. John Illuminati, salute. Check your messages. My bad, bro.
No, you're good.
Yeah, man. You see me when it comes to politics and all of that. Like, to be perfectly honest with you, I do not trust in the political in a whole system. I think the whole system needs to be deconstructed and reconstructed. Like, but
I agree.
But this is what we gotta live. We gotta live what we gotta live with at the time. You know what I'm saying? But personally, I think we need to take care of home, and we need to stop meddling overseas and all that.
I think the day and age has come. I agree.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because
the days we were this big superpower, that was before the internet, and other places are starting to get their foothold on things, and we don't have exactly the same power and pull that we used to.
Right, and it's not that we don't. It's not we're not united because we do. It's so much. It's like we not dealing domestic. So I study history, and throughout history, the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, every time they go outside of the country and start building, like a civil war or something, happens in the country. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, and the country becomes. It even happened in the Soviet Union. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the Democrats and Republicans out there went to war or something like that. They done roll up on a White House stairs with the tank. You feel what I'm saying? And this was two
I
political
mean, you're always
parties.
going to get that with the old guard and the new. You know, or there's always going to be different factions.
Right, right. But it's like
I agree with you.
political
I think a lot of
parties.
people feel that way.
Like how the Republic, the Trump people ran up on the White House and all, and like, people have fun with it because it wasn't too crazy, but things like that, because can tear countries apart. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Beaver Valley, salute, appreciate.
I think a lot of people have that feeling you have with feeling like we have to take care of home a little bit more. I think that's just common sense when it really comes to charity. You know, the guy who has everything settled can give more than the guy who doesn't.
Right. Right. You can't take care of somebody if you can't take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I get that frustration. You know, you're sitting here in a country where you can go fight for this country and you're not guaranteed a job or a home when you come home, but we're also taking care of soldiers in other countries. That could be very disheartening for some folks.
right. So if you believe this can lead to World War III, or you think that's an over exaggeration?
I think it could be like a step in the direction. I don't think like it's the end all be all. I don't know. I feel like maybe for me at least, I feel like the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, for World War III would be China and Taiwan. Like I think if China and Taiwan, it kind of escalates to this. Then I think we're starting to get a little closer between Russia, Ukraine, everything going on in Gaza, Iran now, and then as well as China, Taiwan. I think that's when we're starting to get a little closer to World War III. I mean, but I think it could lead down that path for sure.
Yeah, because it seems like it even kind of happened in this country with the Communist Party. It's kind of like the Communist Party was kind of outcasted in America and all of that, but that kind of like ties in with Russia, China, and what was that, World War II? I believe.
What, Russia, China?
Yeah, when the communists was fighting.
Well, yeah, I guess that would be
the Allies,
Korea. That kind of whole little spiel of wars there were that's kind of all America kind of fought over from probably like the 50s on. That's why we went to Vietnam, to stop communism. And I mean, this country's always been big on stopping anything that's not capitalism. So socialism.
Yeah, so it seems like those countries in the Middle East, such as Iran, that was, getting weapons or trading, whatever they was doing with Russia, China, and all of them, is like the people who was fighting in that war, it's like this is like the remnants. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I mean, most of Iran's military is left over from the former Soviet Union. So it's kind of, to your point, I'd say that holds very true. Like this is Iran is kind of built up from Russia, so to speak, the USSR, and us kind of arming people, us meaning the US, and now they're armed and they're armed across the board, and they're like, hey, we're still here. They have plenty of tanks and a lot of stuff that was left there from the Afghan war, from the Desert Storms, and
right,
all these different wars in the Middle East over the last 30, 40 years.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's just Aaron, salute. I don't know, man. It's like it's like the Cold War. It's like it never stopped. You feel what I'm saying?
I agree. They said it did, but yeah, it kind of moved, right? Because it was like after the Berlin Wall came down, that was kind of symbolically like, all right, this is over. Capitalism won, but it kind of didn't. It just left these places and kind of went towards the Middle East because that's where the wars were: Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know that it ever ended. That's a good point.
We still
live our lives on edge of the big one coming down. So
And it's funny because it kind of stems from like the Crusades and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
a lot of this I feel is religious based. I think
right.
a lot of this war in the Middle East, that's some of this has been going on for 3,000 years, 2,000 years. Egypt, these places,
Yeah.
maybe under different names, but it's the same game.
So what do you think? So Iran is a threat to Israel, and that's the ally of the West in the Middle East. So that's why they don't want certain people to have these weapons.
Yeah, I mean Israel was built by the U.S. and UK. You know what I mean? The state of Israel, so to speak, 1949 and things like that. So we always have to be the protector in a way. But I think that there's a confusion with that because some in the Trump administration are pushing this as Iran cannot have a nuke. It's nothing to do with Israel. This is a worldwide issue.
Right.
It did appear that way though, because Israel makes this first strike, and then within a week later, we're making a strike. So it did kind of look like we were backing them up, but we kind of pushed them in the way, like, hey, while you're doing that, you guys got to take care of this as well.
So, man,
there's just a lot of misinformation, man. People are saying, oh, they're not trying to build a nuke. This is just for nuclear energy. And then I'm seeing stories where they're saying uranium doesn't have to be enriched to a certain point. Anything over 60% enriched is only for nuclear weapons. So it's like, all right, well, why are people still pushing this nuclear energy thing then?
I mean, like, it's funny because we still have, so I don't know, man. Don't worry about
it. There's 7 or 9 other countries that are still nuclear and have nuclear weapons. Us, China, India, just to name a few.
Right. So we trying to police who can have them, who can't have them.
Who can have them and who can't. Exactly. And, even 40 years ago, it was basically who can have the most. It was like, because if you look at the counts of them, Russia has the most. And it's like, all right, so if we're so worried about Iran, aren't we just as worried about Russia? They have nukes. They have the most nukes. It's them, then us. And then everybody else is hundreds away. Between us and Russia, we probably have 3,000 combined. And then every other country in the world probably doesn't even have 1,000 combined.
But like you said, for the zealot, the suicide bombers, oh my bad, the S bombers.
But I think you can use it in that way you used it.
Oh, okay.
I think we're safe still.
Yeah, so that's probably why. And like I said, is in close proximity to like Israel. It seems like Israel is more of a strategic place than it has more. It has to do with that more than the Bible and bringing up
for sure
people of God.
For sure. I mean, it kind of puts you between Africa and Europe. You know what I mean? You're kind of like right between the two, so you could kind of police both. And Asia is kind of part of that as well. So you're touching Israel's kind of part of 3 continents almost, just because of, again, like you just said, that location.
Right. That's, man, it's just, man, the politics and all of this, that go along with it, man. Like I say, man, first and foremost, I think we should take care of things domestic. But like I said, if we like I don't have no choice. So if things do go, the other way and we go to war and all that, of course I'm going to be for the country. And I think even if we don't agree and all that, like we need to stop doing that outwardly. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not doing any good to be against it either. I agree. I don't understand being so far against it. I don't understand how that helps domestically at all.
Yeah.
You're basically
now. Listen, I never when it comes to the people, like when it comes to like. Oh my bad, you cutting out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was
Good
cutting
now?
out.
Oh yeah. No, I was
Right.
just seconding what you were saying. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, hold on. We got another panelist. John Caluminati, salute my
Can you
brother.
hear me?
What's going on?
Yeah, it sounded like I was in Russia. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, come on, sir.
You were speaking a foreign language. What up? What's good?
What's going on, my brother?
Not much. Just listening to y'all, getting my technical difficulty things situated. How's everybody doing? What up, Kenzo? What up, KT?
Salute, John. I'm gonna try
chilling.
to fix this mic, KT.
All right, okay.
Beat.
So what's your take on this?
A couple of things that was said. One, J6 was an inside job set up. The FBI admitted under congressional hearings that they had hundreds of FBI agents in the crowd that day. You seen
What's
videos
that?
of
Wait,
Antifa.
what you mean? Wait, hold on. What's that?
On top of January 6th being a setup.
January 6th. What is that?
Yeah, where it was like J6. You know, when they so-called stormed the Capitol, but they're
okay.
Peacefully, when the Capitol police were beating the crap out of MAGA and Trump supporters.
Mm-hmm.
They try to say cops die out, other stuff. It's the biggest event ever. It's worse than 9/11, Pearl Harbor, and everything else. Bullshit.
Okay, watch the language, though.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, looking like this. Yeah, they're the same ones behind 9/11. World War I, if you look into it, if you really want to know real history, that was the false flag. World War II was a false flag. Vietnam was a false flag.
Alleged.
We went to Iraq. They know alleged. Like this is admitted. Like this is admitted. Like
well, you know, for YouTube purposes, YouTube purposes, you know.
Yeah, I know the United States of Freedom America. You know, you can't tell the truth. The truth is, you can't say that. Oh, how dare you, American?
So, as far as the Iran situation, what you think about that?
Man, I think it worked out. You got the perfect outcome, but there's still that danger where the mullahs or the Ayatollah are a bunch of crazy people, psychopaths and stuff, where they'd rather go down with the ship than have peace. Because you got to think about like this. This is bigger than politics. This is bigger than Trump. This is bigger than America. This goes back to old biblical days, Israel versus Iran. I mean, Israel versus Islam, pretty much.
Right.
That's pretty much what it is. And you look in their book where they say their prophecy is they're supposed to have the mighty, the Antichrist come. The ball of fire is going to change things and rain. And there you go. This is pretty much it's pretty much the globalists setting up religions to battle each other. Christianity has to be wiped out. Islam has to go, everything, so they could bring in a one world satanic religion. So it's bigger than politics. It ain't just about Republicans and Democrats. That's what people need to get out their head. It's not about race. It's not about politics. It's about good versus evil, pretty much. God versus Satan. That's what it is.
So did you hear about? They said that they missed the target, or was that a rumor, or did you hear anything about that?
That same journalist is the lady that made up the Intel cheats about the Hunter's laptop. That wasn't real. Russia. That wasn't real. She got a whole history. I can go down the line. She got a whole laundry list of just making stuff up. This is CNN.
Wow. So this lady works for CNN.
Yeah, she's the one I came with the story. Wow. But what it was part of an assessment, like initial assessment, like an initial report. Okay, we hit the target, and it even said on the report, this is not reliable, and it said it's not a final report. And then they ran with that though. They took it all out of context. That's what they do. They just take words out of context. She's the same lady that said the very fine member. Oh my God, Trump called them very fine people. But I'm not talking about the white supremacists or the neo-Nazis. That's what he said. They left that part out.
So CNN is more for like the what's that would be the left?
CNN is the left. Everything on the left though is fake news and propaganda. They tell the truth when we make them tell. Fox News will let you get to a certain amount of truth and then they cut you off. So they're part of the program too.
But they more for the right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they're both owned by the same people though. Think about that for a second. 98% of all the news you hear is owned by the same people, same corporations. They own the Microsoft, the Sonys, the Samsungs, Pickle Corporation, the Pepsis, KFCs, McDonald's, Volvo, Chevrolet, you name it. They name it. They own it all. Ain't no real competition. So when people talk about capitalism, capitalism ain't the problem. The problem is a small percentage of the few, the 1%, them owning everything. That's the real problem right there. That cuts us off from competition. That cuts us off from the market when you have 3 investment firms when they run everything, they control everything, when it's the same shareholders. And if you pay attention, you look at like stuff like Black Lives Matter, even right now with Iran, you always see them on the same page.
So you think this could lead to World War III, like people were saying, or that's blowing it out of proportion, Paul?
It's possible, but you gotta look at Iran. You can't just look at Iran as Iran. You gotta look at Iran like North Korea. Like North Korea is China's female dog. Same thing with Iran. It's called a proxy. Same thing with Venezuela. Same thing with some countries in Africa and Latin America. But China got too much to lose. Like their economy is pretty much dead. They need a trade deal. That's why they signed one. Russia is too bogged down in Ukraine. They can't fight 2 wars. But at the same time, the mullahs are some crazy psychopaths, though. You know, they're the unpredictable ones. They're the wild cards. I believe they're willing to go down with the ship. But they're also the type, you know how like bullies, we punch them in the face, they shut up for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So if you treat Iran like that, like you gotta understand one thing about that region. They're used to being treated aggressively, right? Because if you look at that from Saddam Hussein, you know, you didn't really have no problems. Yes, Saddam Hussein was a madman. Gaddafi, he was a dictator too, but he wasn't as bad. At least he took care of his people. They had free college, free healthcare. They didn't produce. They weren't capable of producing their own oil and then charging their people like an arm and a leg for it, like we do. It's all a global, like it's pretty much like a chessboard where they had this plan since like going back. Behold a pale white horse. You look at like a lot of the literature.
I heard about that.
They plan to have 3 world wars. And it's supposed to be the 3rd one, supposed to be Islam against, you know, jihad is supposed to raise up. Well, Iran's part of that. If you pay attention to Iran goes along with whatever CNN says. Like, did you notice that? Whatever the left says, that's what Iran says. And if you see about it, if you think about it, you see in the cult, what are you doing waving Iranian flags? You're American. They'll support anything that's against Donald Trump. Whether it's the Tromo, Ukraine, Iranian, they don't care. MS-13, Trinidad, Nicaragua, they don't care. They really don't care. These people are nuts. They're psycho. There is no reason with these people. There is no facts. There is no truth. I mean, I know there's some nutcases on the right, but at least they're tolerable. I could just drag them and keep it pushing. But the left, the cult, oh no. And they type the same things, oh, lies, Epstein list. They just say the same things in circles. Then you ask them to name the lie, they attack you. I don't think Iran's gonna be too big of an issue though. That's something that could be worked out with peace, you know.
So
Iran, China, and Russia got too much to lose.
What's Israel's involvement in it?
Well, Israel's government is as corrupt as Iran's. You got Israel, like Syria right now. The leader of Syria right now is Al Qaeda. All of a sudden, he's reformed. Israel put him in place. Israel started Hamas. This was started this whole Iran-Israel war. October 7th, like Israel even admitted, one of their brigadier generals, they admitted that, yeah, we started Hamas. With Mossad, M15, CIA, they started Al Qaeda, and ISIS came from
What's your source for that?
That's declassified documents. Like a brigadier general himself admitting it in the New York Times that they started Hamas.
Okay.
Straight from the horse. Trust me, anything I say is not a conspiracy theory. If I speculate on something, I tell people, or okay, I'm predicting this is my prediction, then it comes true, whatever, you know. But other than that, I always go by facts.
Right. Well, you know, sometimes, you know, people such as myself and others may not know what you're saying too much. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to get a clearer picture.
Plus, we live in a misinformation, disinformation age where people, I see why people don't trust the government. People don't trust people because we've been lied to all these years. Everybody in the chat could find one big conspiracy theory that ended up being true. That we've been lied to. The fake news were up and down. Remember that thing they tried to stick in our arms? That's an example right there. 9/11. That's another example. Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. We went to war with them twice. That's another example. And they're trying to do the same thing again. They're trying to say, like you were saying about Israel and Iran, they're trying to do the same thing again if you pay attention. The same media outlets, the same voices, sometimes even the same people. Oh, Iran, it wasn't destroyed because Israel was always trying to draw us into a war.
So you think we did the right thing by the strike?
Yeah, we did.
And why?
Do you trust people that wake up every day screaming death to America, having nuclear weapons? Think about it like this. You see North Korea act a fool when they got nukes, you know. Imagine Iran, and they're worse than Korea, and they're both puppets of China.
But they nukes can't really reach over here, right?
North Korea's can. And they share technology. And Iran fired off some really sophisticated missiles. Mars, multiple entry MERVS, multiple entry vehicles, multiple entry something vehicles. My bad.
So why we didn't hit North Korea? We didn't have like an opening.
Because Trump was able to work that out. Remember how him and Kim Jong-un were like their best pals, whatever? They're riding each other. They're riding each other pen pal letters, though. See, Trump knows how to deal with these people, though. Like in that area of the Middle East, you need to treat these people with aggression. That's the only thing they understand. Good, y'all think about it. It's in their so-called holy book where they deceive the enemy. Like their ultimate goal is for Islam to just rule the world. That's what they're trying to do in New York City right now, that mayor.
What you mean?
Straight jihadist, straight one of the dirtiest. You can even look at him and tell the guy who won the Democrat primary for New York City mayor.
Yeah,
he's one of them. He's a jihadist. And you listen to him, you'll see why. You don't got to hear it from me. You can just hear him talk. He only been in this country 8 years, and he's running for mayor of New York. Think about it like this.
Wow. So you don't have to be born here to run for mayor?
I guess not.
Wow.
I think only president is like the only really thing where they really trip over that.
Wow. Oh yeah, because Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't born here. You're right. He was like
he was the governor. I remember that dude. Another globalist snake, though. See, that's the thing, though. People are used to seeing people's like charisma or whatever. Oh, that's a nice person, but they don't know what they do behind the scenes. They don't know who they party with, though. A lot of these politicians, they've been at Diddy parties. Like the whole Diddy operation, I won't be surprised if Diddy gets off for the simple fact that the prosecutor in the case, she's the same one that handled the Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell case. Like she's pretty much the cleanup woman. She's James Comey's daughter. He's the one that helped start the whole Russia hoax, the head of the FBI. But she's the cleanup person where their rings, oh no, we can't let too much get out. They're going to figure it out. It's a worldwide death chomo operation going on, smuggling, trafficking operation going on. Yeah. So she's the cleanup person pretty much.
Well, if anybody want to hit the call-in line, I'm about to drop the call-in line. Anybody got any questions, any comments? Y'all want to hit the call-in line is in the chat. Oh yeah. Before I forget, let me also pin the members only link in the chat if you want to join the members only.
Think about it like this. All the wars we fought, both times in Iraq, we all knew it was over oil. This one wasn't over oil. Iran has hella oil. We didn't care about the oil. Trump was like, nah, you just can't have no nukes. That was pretty much it, and then we were done. Iran wants to act stupid. Okay. You don't want to act stupid, then we can go regime change. And there's a lot of ways that's non-military that can happen. So Iran might just want to chill and stop acting tough, though, because they really don't got that power. Iran in 2025 is not the same Iran that was from 2018, 2019 that Obama built up. Ain't the same Iran.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
What's going on, sir?
What
We're
up,
here.
Crook?
I was listening to the conversation, Mr. John Kay. Salute to you, sir.
Salute.
Listening to the conversation. Mr. John Kay mentioned, I mean, a plethora of
Right.
ongoings and ideals. And unfortunately, you can't, the way the world is today, there is no cookie cutter approach to it. There are a ton of shades of gray in between the light and the dark, the right and the wrong. And so, you know, when things get this convoluted, the search for the truth is never easy. And unfortunately,
I always find it though. That's all I do.
right. Well, I mean,
That's all I'm interested in.
that's
my bad, fellas. Try not to cut each other off. Ming, salute.
yes, sir. And I hear you, Mr. John Kay. And I think that's all of us, I would hope, would endeavor to do. It's
Yes,
just
sir.
unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that it's never an easy task, the way the world is today. It's my opinion that America has spread itself thin as it applies to geopolitics and the affairs of the world, that we have lost focus here at home. Hopefully there's a healthy balance to be found. But uh, that balance is to be found with leadership as well as the voice and the will of the people. So I would think most civil-minded people or right-minded people in the world that we live in wish to just strike a balance, an acceptable balance, as it were.
Real talk. Ming, salute. Eve,
Yeah,
salute.
there is a balance, but look at it like this, Crook. Yeah, don't think of it like a race, or don't think of it like a race divisions. Don't think of it as political divisions. Think of this as being a battle of good versus evil, because they tell us in their own white papers, what we call them, when they tell us themselves and have literature and all the stuff about it. The UN passes bills about it though. This is their plan. This is a global takeover. With the plague from China, that was supposed to be their final grab, their final opportunity. It was supposed to be over after that. They're supposed to rule the planet. They stole an election, everything else. Everything was going great. But then the people rose up like, nope, we ain't putting up with this. The reason why America is in better shape than anywhere else, if you look at Europe, they got all kind of problems. They got a migrant invasion, which, by the way, people should pay attention, because they're the same exact plan they're using on the EU. We're 10 years behind that plan. So people might want to pay attention. I've seen videos where leftists, oh yeah, come here, come on, illegals, come on, you're our best friends. Now they're graping them, assaulting them, and guess who goes to jail for it? The people they do it to, the people that try to stop them. That's Islam in its final form. That's their plan.
Well, for me,
Meg Beck, salute. My bad.
no, it's all good, brother. I mean, I respect the platform and the acknowledgement of the audience, and peace and blessings to the audience as well. For me, I found it always to be a fault of people to try to interpret good and bad to their own will, that people live existential from actual truth or falsehood. Um, Basically, whichever way the wind blows on any particular day, as it pertains to good or bad and how it suits them and their needs. So I try to look at things objectively in the search of actual truth versus falsehood.
That's one thing I can do is falsehoods. We already got too many conspiracy theories. People already, like you said, like whichever way the wind blows. Like fake news, for instance. You know, all of a sudden, for instance, the media. This is how much control they have over us. We're all talking about Diddy. We're all talking about Iran. Love them or hate them, everybody talking about Trump. You see where I'm going with that, though?
No,
mean,
I do. I do
but
understand.
when you say good or bad, though, but there's a clear line where everybody could agree where something is good or something is evil. Cutting kids' balls off and their breasts off, that's evil. Like they're not
Oh,
dogs.
wait a minute.
Stop neutering kids. You know what my bad. Like Iran
No,
having nukes is not bad. Death to America, I mean, it is bad. Death to America is bad. Their policies where they want World War III, oh, just give all this money to Ukraine and all this like that. War is bad, you know. All the things illegals, that's bad. Like that's the clear line. I think most people with common sense would agree on it because they see the ramifications of having these things take place.
and I understand your points, but for me at least, it's hard. It's hard for me to accept, the emphasis and the argument on, a lot of the action taken against Iran, albeit I understand, but yet we somehow dropped the ball with North Korea obtaining nuclear devices as they are bordered with our ally in Asia, South Korea.
And China.
Well, South Korea is, I would say, is more of an ally.
No, I'm saying China because they're an enemy. That's why. They're
Right.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying your point. That's why.
Right. And I don't see Israel as being any greater or lesser of an ally than South Korea in this, per the discussion as it pertains to, nuclear devices. I do understand earlier in the conversation, the religious connotations that were placed on the argument. I can see the tipping of the scales quite possibly there culturally, socially, what have you. But as it pertains to allies from a political standpoint, I don't see one as greater than the other. So the emphasis as to they can't have one, I just didn't find that same gravity during the escalation with North Korea.
Before October 7th, Iran was running amok in the Middle East. They control pretty much Syria with Assad. Assad was their boy. They control a large part of Iraq and their government, got the militias. The other neighbors, nobody liked Iran, not even Israel. You even had Muslims saying, "Oh yeah, Israel strike, strike Iran." You know what I mean? You even had Muslim countries saying that. Though Iran has been a menace since 1979 when the CIA set it up, the downfall of the Ayatollah. Iran has always been a problem. Not only that, though, Iran is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of just American troops.
So
the number one sponsor of terror. So you really want, and the thing with North Korea, they sat down with Trump though.
So isn't wait, hold on. Isn't it more resources like in the Middle East that we need than in Asia?
No, we don't need them. No. That's one thing you can say about Trump, though. He's all about American dominance when it comes to oil or liquid natural gas and being the number one exporter of them resources. Though we never really needed the oil. That was just something they were just being greedy. They just wanted to take it. But if you pay attention with Iran, like we just bombed their nuclear sites and no war. Could have done a lot more because trust me, those weren't the only targets on the list.
So now, if it's not about the oil, I see what Crook is saying. Then he kind of has a point.
About what?
That it may, why didn't we stop them from having nuclear weapons in, what is it? You said North Korea or South Korea?
North Korea.
Yeah,
it was excuse me, brother. It was the nuclear proliferation of the nuclear assets in North Korea. Now we've been at odds with North Korea since the 50s. That's long.
Yeah, look at it like this though. Look at it like this. When you think of our allies, though, they're not all the same as but they used to be. Like NATO, Russia's only the boogeyman, so NATO could exist. They're really obsolete, though. We don't need NATO. Like the Cold War is over. We don't need NATO. South Korea, China just interfered with their elections like they did ours. NATO got all kind of censorship problems. Don't even treat their people right. And these are all globalist leaders. These are all globalist leaders. Like our allies, our friends are not really our friends.
So
Israel got a shady government though. They knew October 7th was coming and they stood down. They allowed that. That's their 9/11.
Mr. John K. But here's the point I'm making is that at least in this part, North Korea was a proxy of Soviet Russia.
China.
No, they were a proxy
China. I promise you, it's China. Trust me, I'm an expert on China. It is China. North Korea is a popular. They got a military. They got a deal with Russia. I mean, they sent troops to Ukraine, but they're not.
China historically, it was Soviet Russia that had the influence on China, which made it communist. And so in part, if not a whole,
China was communist.
Wait, hold on, don't start. Let him finish his point, and then you can rebuttal.
The thing is that before China became the superpower that it is today, the superpower who helped them gain prominence was Soviet Russia. That is a historical fact. There is no debate there.
Yeah, but that's a fact though. By the same time, you gotta look at the Korean War. When China came across the border and they spent $1 million, you remember that time they sent 1 million troops over the border to help, and that caused the splitting of North and South Korea. Ever since then, they've been China's little female dog. They've never been that close to Russia, never. But North Korea didn't exist until that incident, to the Korean War. You gotta think about it like that too.
So
they got deals with Russia. They do a lot of trade with Russia. But other than that, no, China's their daddy. Same way as China is Iran's daddy.
Mr. John K. As we endeavor to find the truth, it is my belief that the truth is always in the roots. So
it is in the roots. North Korea didn't exist until China interfered in the war.
Why
did China interfere?
And communist China didn't exist without the communist Soviet Union. Doesn't matter who's stronger today.
Actually, communism existed. That actually started out in the Rockefeller Building in New York. Communism is actually a Western invention to bring down the world.
My point is, the emphasis was not the same as North Korea.
China was built up.
Wait, hold on, John. You can't cut him off. Let him finish it.
My point is that the emphasis was not the same as North Korea developed their nuclear program, as it tested rockets and missiles fired in the direction of U.S. allies and U.S. territories in the region.
He fired missiles over Japan. He fired missiles over Japan. But at the same time, North Korea and Iran are not the same. No way are the same. One's the number one world sponsor of terror. That's a fact. The other isn't.
As well as firing missiles towards Hawaii, which is a state.
Obama allowed that though. You seen when Trump got in, that was under Obama. But when Trump got in, it was different though. North Korea, they settled down.
Wait, excuse me, fella. I gotta take this call. Hold it down for me. Appreciate it.
Mr. John K. I don't wish to argue. I don't wish to argue with you.
I'm not arguing, but you're comparing apples to oranges, though. Comparing apples to oranges, they're not the same. Same way as the UK and France, like being our allies, is not the same. Same way, like Israel, like our relationship with Israel is not the same. Relationship with Canada is not the same. You got to treat every nation individually because it's its own unique thing going on.
Mr. John K.
But North Korea has always been China's little girl.
I don't want to argue with you, sir, but I do want to make an observation, at least in my personal opinion. I noticed a shift in your energy that I found surprising when I said that North Korea fired a missile towards a state of the
Wasn't no
United
shift.
States.
I was just remembering. I like when you say stuff though, like my mind, because this is like 10 years of knowledge though. Like this
Right,
ain't just
right,
like this ain't just like something pops up in the news. Like I'm on this every day. This is all I post. This is all I look. I read 100 news stories a day. So trust me, I know what's going on in the world. I know the fake news. I know the real news. And best of all, God gave me a spirit of prophecy and discernment though, so I can see this all coming.
right.
So that's how I know. That's how I know the truth though.
So
But
North
if you
Korea
pay
did
attention
not
though,
fire missiles in the direction of Hawaii.
yeah, they did. But Trump sat them down though. But here's the thing.
But see, I thought. See, here's my thing.
Think about like this. Kim Jong-un had a chance to make peace. He made peace. Iran had a chance to make peace, but we knew they weren't going to make peace, so we played the game against them. You know, they had 60 days to make peace, to make a deal, right? North Korea would have got struck too. North Korea got hit hard.
But I find it surprising that you would forgive anything. As patriotic as you, as a patriotic, I believe you.
I didn't say it was okay. I didn't say it was okay. I never said it was okay. Right. I'm just saying like the two situations are the same. North Korea was dealt with diplomacy. Iran, we had to take our B-2 bombers from Missouri and fly them, you know, take them nuclear reactors out. They are taking out people. Don't believe CNN. They got a history of fake news. You got to remember the Super Bowl was once brought to you by Pfizer.
I would have sooner accepted the approach we took with Iran, with North Korea, with the shot that they took.
I would rather Iran
took no shot. Iran took no such shot.
I rather Iran. What are you talking about? Iran is in control of the Houthis.
Okay, you're developing
how many people they kidnapped? How many ships they sunk? Some of them were Americans, by the way. I'm just saying.
This is the point I want to make.
North Korea never did that, though. North Korea never did that.
I hear you. This is the point I want to make. Iran never fired a shot at an American territory, much less an American state. North Korea was developing American ships. Nuclear program.
They unalived American troops. What are you talking about? They unalived American troops. They were sinking ships. Remember Trump shut the Houthi operation down? Remember that little campaign we went on a little bit ago? That's what he means, peace through strength, though. Sometimes you got to treat those people that way because in that area, especially dealing with that religion, the only thing they understand is aggression. And if you're a bigger bully than them, they stand down. That's just their culture. That's the way they are. They respect you more.
The Middle East is a war-torn region that we've been involved in over the past
way too long.
There is no war-torn region in the Pacific that would in any way justify a possible nuclear strike on an American state. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What the Houthis did, that's not going to justify a country that's developing a nuclear program firing at an American state.
North Korea already has a nuclear program.
And the country that we're talking, the country that we bombed, used proxies.
Here's the thing. You got
hold on. My bad. Salute, fellas. Chillin', salute. Welcome to the panel. I'm on the phone right now. I'll be right back. Try not to cut each other off, please. Thank you.
Roger that.
Hi, guys.
That's just the point I was making, John.
But here's the thing, though.
That's just the point I was making.
No, you're good. I understand your point, though. I'm just passionate, though. Don't take this as me getting mad or yelling. I'm just like, this is like all I do. This excites me.
No, I get it. I get it. No, you know what I mean, one America.
We're all in the same boat. You know, I'm trying to bring us out of this hole they put us in, though. You know, I'm trying to bring us all up, even the people on the left, because we need them too. All Americans.
I just find I find the actions of North Korea taking
they were disturbing.
With the program that they developed. I find that reprehensible. That's unforgivable. We got to do something with that. That's all I was saying.
Think about like this though. UK has nukes, France has nukes, Pakistan has nukes, Israel has nukes, Saudi Arabia says they don't have nukes, but they really have them. Iran actually really does have nukes, though, because there's no reason to enrich to them levels, though. Like, for instance, nuclear power plants, they're around 3 to 5% enrichment. Nuclear research facilities, 20%, less than USS Gerald Ford or any of our other Nimitz class carriers or Ford class carriers, which are all nuclear powered, can travel around the world, never refuel. But Iran was reaching like the 60%. They got caught to 80%, caught to 90%. You only need like
Rock, I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
You only need around 40 for an atomic bomb. So
Well,
and then you look at it like then think about it like this. No other country ever in the history of this planet ever enriched them levels unless it was for a weapon. No other country enriched uranium-235 to that level unless it was for a weapon.
Well, they're already at the levels that we used in World War II.
Yeah, beyond them levels. Then, oh no, and it was an accident. We didn't mean to reach 87%. We don't know how it happens. You got to turn those centrifuges on, buddy. Come on now. You gotta have them centrifuges spin faster, buddy. Speaking of that, remember that time Israel was so diabolical. Remember that time they used like a memory stick because Iran had no internet in their reactors, and then Iran put the stick into one of their drives and messed up their program. Set them back years.
Almost caused the meltdown. I remember.
Remember that?
I remember. Almost caused a nuclear incident in the world. Yes, I'm aware.
Israel remember, and then with this thing with Iran, they had drones and missiles sitting parked inside Iran for months. As soon as they attacked, well, Trump did tell them, you guys, he did warn them, you got 60 days. On the 61st day, Israel struck.
But and I hear what you're saying, but how do you feel? This is me just asking. How do you feel about?
I agree. North Korea is a problem. You're right. Something has to be worked out with North Korea. You're right, though. I agree with that. I see what you're saying.
How do you feel about?
The fact that you're worried, means other Americans are worried, so it has to be an issue because you're not the only one I heard say that. So you're right.
My apologies. Gio, salute. Rich Martinez. Chilling. We got chilling up here. Chilling. You wanted to contribute to the conversation.
I'm here to support you because you invited me, but I'm enjoying the conversation. I don't know too much about the politics of that, but I just wanted to show you support,
Thank you. I appreciate it. So you have anything to contribute to the
I personally think, because you said something about World War III, I don't think that we're going there. I think that this is a way to control us in some way. America's not actually going to go to war. Other people and other countries may feel it, but you're not going to feel it. You're going to feel it in the grocery stores, but they're not going to be bombs dropping on the U.S. soil. And that's how some people are thinking of it.
But what about the draft? Do you think if we go to war, it will be draft? Yeah.
Okay. So I have 3 boys, I have a 25-year-old, a 22-year-old, and a soon-to-be 20-year-old. And when they went to vote, like when they registered to vote, they had to put that down that they could be drafted. And plus, when you go to school and try to get money to go to college, like scholarships and stuff, you have to fill out that you will be drafted.
Well, the draft started because of the vote. You can't vote if you didn't go to war. So drafting and voting go together, right? Or if I'm mistaken, anybody on the panel, somehow connected, right?
I believe the draft started like World War II, I believe.
Okay.
Just for more manpower, I believe.
But it has something to do with voting, right? Like they connected somehow.
Oh,
like
when
you couldn't vote if you didn't.
I know you can't get can't get a Pell Grant. You can't get a Pell Grant to go to college.
If I can interject, I believe that was part of the selective service process. That initiative.
Yeah.
Because I know women couldn't vote because they couldn't go to war. So I know I think something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I will have to look into it though. But that's just another side note. My bad.
So can I ask a question, John? Can I ask a question? What about civil war instead of war? Or what about civil war with all the things that are happening with California?
They already tried that, but you see, it's a big flop though. Here's the thing though: if people are expecting something, like for instance, remember it's the new variant, it's the XBCC 9-4. Remember every month there's a new variant. People are like, "Nah, I'm not falling for that." But people respect things. The word was already put out about civil war, but pretty much it's a failure too. Just like Iran, they try to get us into World War III. That's all that is, though. But I don't see no real danger of that, though. But there's always a possibility because people just like to go with the wind.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
They've been trying to frame us for like violent stuff all the time, like that idiot, that leftist lunatic in Minnesota who unalived them state senators. Yeah. Oh no, that was MAGA. It was them. Nope, it wasn't. Once again. And then all they can say, oh, what about January 6th? There's only one side committing the violence. The other side is just bringing the truth and whooping her behind with the truth. That's it. That's all people need is the truth. Violence is not the way to solve any answers. We all need to come together. Stop being left and right. Stop being black versus white or brown or whatever, though. We all Americans. Plain and simple.
Is it true that the president signed some order in order for them to have like army troops in the cities and things like that? That no, it's okay.
No, he didn't try. He didn't sign an insurrection act. That was like one of those things where if you get out of line, I won't do that though. Because that was their original plans. It's like they just want to burn cities down again and have everything be worse in 2020.
Well, what I would say is that there is currently a recruitment initiative ongoing, and all branches of service, except for Space Force, as reported, are ahead of their goals, or ahead of their recruitment goals for this year.
That's because of Trump. That's why I ain't a recruiting product. That's Trump. That, and you gotta think about it like this. You got no DEI policies. You don't got the trans stuff going on no more. So of course that's the reason why people.
I would say that. I would say that.
Not only that though, you got to think like this. A lot of people were discharged because of shots, and then they got their jobs back. I don't know how that works.
I would say
3 years out the job.
Honestly, it's my personal opinion, and I may be wrong, but I would say, given that we have a voluntary military force, I would say that is the hearts and minds of the American people, as opposed to it being the will of President Donald J. Trump.
I agree with you 100%. I think that's more Americans being Americans, being patriotic. I agree with you. We happen to have a patriotic president, though, but other than that, I agree with you. It is a people, because they could have did the same thing under Biden if it were just a paycheck. But you're right. I know when I signed up many years ago when I was in the Marine Corps, it was because of a president. Oh shoot, president! Oh, let me sign up. Not saying like people do that. That's wrong, but I'm just saying.
A lot of people signed up after 9/11. Is that true? They signed up to go fight. Okay. Yeah.
And some of the same generals retired, sit on these councils, either like places called the Atlantic Council, and plan mass psychological war games against the American people. True story, by the way.
Mr. John K., question for you. How do you feel about President Trump initially tearing up the first nuclear agreement we had with Iran?
That was a BS agreement. Did you see it? Did you read it? JPEG was all bad. How are you going to give? Oh no! Here's money to develop your nukes. Here's money to fund terror. If you notice, Iran used that money to feed its people. So it funded terror. You notice when Trump comes along, they're broke again. Biden and Obama gave them billions of dollars. And what did we get in return?
The president has been in office all of a few months. Countries don't go broke overnight.
Oh, Iran is broke.
So you saying that by him doing all these tariffs and tearing up
think
all
about
these
sanctions.
things, that means they not getting no more money from us, so they will go broke.
Why would we give money? Why would we give Iran money to kill us? That doesn't make any sense. That's just insanity. Why would we give Iran money to kill Israel? Israel needs to chill as it is. Don't give them any reason to act a fool, because they will.
So it could be a strategic move that the president is doing, that why he's taking away all these funds that we were sending overseas to make them all broke, basically, so they could ask for our help.
Not really that, because even the people in the countries admit that. You'll see the videos. You can find them all over X, find them all over Instagram, where they admit that the money wasn't going to them. They're like, for instance, say I give $1 million to Sudan, right? Sudan might see like 1,000 of the money, then the rest of the money goes to the Democrats. Some Republicans too, because they're in on the take two. You can't just blame one party. You gotta, if somebody does wrong, you point it out. It doesn't matter what side it is. But the money wasn't even going to them. They were pocketing the money. But if you notice, now all of a sudden the DNC, oh, we're broke. Gee, I wonder why you're broke now. I wonder what happened. They were taking the money. That's where the $5,000 a check for every American came. That's how much money they stole. That was just the initial findings, the beginning. And they still ain't find it all. I mean, that's literally our money. I mean, the debt going up, all this money, meanwhile, it's because of them.
I wouldn't go as far as that. Corruption is corruption.
It is.
I don't assign corruption to one or the other. Where corruption exists, corruption exists.
Yeah, true. But if I see one side, one party, and every single person in that party is doing it, though, I want to call it out that though. Now I see some Republicans, not the majority of them. I'm gonna call it out as that too. I'm just gonna call it fair down the line. Had nothing to do with left or right. Had nothing to do with being MAGA either. It just right is right.
Well, but see, and this is what I'm saying. If corruption exists and you're calling it down the line, then both parties are culpable.
No, not both parties. For instance, like, they're saying not all cops are bad. Same thing. Same thing. Same analogy. Not all cops are going to go out and shoot somebody just because of the racers. You know what I mean? How many times you pass a cop on the road and nothing happened to you or something? I'm not saying there's cops that don't act like that, though. I'm just saying in general. That's why I go to speed limit. I don't want to deal with no cops.
But they got something called like the blue wall. What do they call it? The blue shield or something.
Where they protect each other and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
The blue wall of
good luck.
silence.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Good luck in this day and age. Everybody got cell phones for filming everything. Good luck.
Signals can be intercepted, right?
Oh yeah. Put it this way: everything we do online is being watched right now, being recorded into a database.
Now, I was just saying that because when they say all cops is not bad and all of that, but the majority of them follow that code. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you also got to look at it like this. There's also been like Kenzo. Shout out to Kenzo. I like to play devil's advocate. There's always been like instances where cops were been the ones who witnessed something, and they're the ones who told on their buddies too. Or you see the videos where oh no, just because I'm Officer Deuces of the Metropolitan Police Department. Yeah, I'll see y'all work tomorrow. No, you're not. You're going to jail, buddy.
Yeah, that's why I said the majority. There's a couple of remember that movie about that one cop?
Hey, I got no problem with the job ICE is doing. Shout out to ICE.
The name of that. I don't want to get off topic though, but it was a movie about a cop that like a lot of the department was corrupt, and he went to they was trying to get rid of him. Long story short.
I believe the movie you're referring to might be Rampart.
I think it is. I think that's
based on a true story too, where a bunch of LA cops were actually dirty. They're actually selling drugs and all this other stuff though. They're planting evidence on people. People got their sentences commuted because, and come to find out, they're the people that arrested, like their word couldn't be trusted. The reports couldn't be trusted, so they had to let them go.
Right.
People got out of jail over that. I remember that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like
the Ramper scandal. Yeah, that's what it's called, the Ramper scandal. Everybody wants to.
Somebody had a question. Oh, my bad.
Somebody had a question in the chat earlier, and I can't forget to answer it. They said, "Do you see Israel as friend or foe?" I see the Israeli people as our friends, but the government is not. And argue it's a globalist snake. Do not trust that dude at all.
That kind of brings me to what I was about to say. Is like you may have good people, but it's the system that's corrupt.
Exactly.
Holla, you posted a comment on the screen.
Ramper scandal, Sharonda. Ramper scandal.
Just a brief moment of levity. Mr. Rich Martinez, The Cave. You're showing your age, sir, with that movie.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
Serpico.
Serpico, yeah.
I want a burrito. Can you put some Serpico on it? Thank you.
The bad cops know where the good cops live. He's not going to put. Yeah, I mean that's what you know, and you know that's kind of how the whole system operates.
And then you got situations where say it's a good cop, and then a bad cop, they'll try to set up the good cop because they know it's good.
Yeah, sometimes it's simple as this is my job. I don't want to jeopardize my job. I got to feed my family. That's too complicated. I'm not trying to go through all that. They don't pay me enough. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, some people just look at things like it's just a job. It's like if you have a job and you see people stealing or something on a job, and you like, I'm just going to mind my business. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I get it.
Don't want to be a Karen. Oh, guess what I seen? I seen KT stuck 3 number 2 pencils in his shirt today.
Yeah, everybody don't want to be a hero, man. It's true. You got some people who want to, go above and beyond, but most people they just trying to live their life. You know what I'm saying?
I wish it was that easy. Just live your life though, without people who think that they run the planet, think that we're their cattle, we're their slaves. I wish it was that easy.
Man, that's just how it is.
Because we're not the problem. Even though we bicker with each other, whatever, we're not the problem. They're the problem.
Yeah. I think the system was just built on, it wasn't, it just, the foundation of it is just corrupt. It wasn't built for what the country says it stands for.
I think it was built like intentions were good in the beginning, but then people came like the same for instance like a computer. I can use this computer to hack into your account and take all your Robux or something, or something like that. For just using that for example, you know what I mean? It's just the people behind the system. It's not really the system itself. Because the system itself, we left it alone. We got the laws in place. We got the Constitution in place. We got the, I would say moral fabric, but society, media has corrupted us. So, but we got those things in place for the system to work exactly how it's supposed to work. But because it's not working, we got these corrupt politicians. We got these, like for instance, all these federal judges making all these injunctions and stuff to the Supreme Court finally said, oh, knock it off. You can't do that though. But Trump was the one acting like kings, but they're acting like kings.
But it's still
laws.
I never
elected a judge to go ahead.
It's still laws in place, and that's all good. It's still laws in place, like from the segregation times and stuff like that. Like it's still laws that like I said, the system was not built for everybody. It was built for a particular kind of people. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Like at first, where we were slaves, it wasn't built for us to pretty much. And then, oh wait a minute, somebody finally grew a conscience. But I mean, we can't do this thing to these people. These people got to be free, fought a war over it and everything. You know what I mean? I see what you're saying. Though. And then
it wasn't built for slaves, the immigrant,
Yeah, but then they had to change the system to adapt to us, though.
Right.
That's why we got the 14th Amendment. That's why we got the 14th Amendment.
Exactly. But I think they need to just I think they just need to redo the whole system. You know what I'm saying? For everybody.
I think it's good as it works, but like for instance, if it worked, we won't have this corruption. People won't be stealing money. We will have another problems we have. The media will not be acting a fool, programming people, and none of this stuff will be happening.
Yeah.
If the law was actually followed, the Constitution would actually follow. These people would be. The Constitution says. I mean, I wouldn't go out and do it though, because my method is violence though. But the Constitution says the remedy for treason is death. That ain't my words. That's the Constitution. I hope a court does one day find these people guilty of treason and sentence them to death. I really do. For the crimes they did, the stuff they've gotten away with, I really do hope that happens one day.
Well, some of them will do that. They are the court. But not only the rich surrounded, but my bad. Not only the rich surrounded, but it was like for Anglo, like Saxon, you know, not, I mean, like Anglo, white Anglo people, this system was built for, like, not for all these, you know, it wasn't the home of the free, the land of the, you know.
That's why we got the Bill of Rights, though, where where it equalizes everything for everybody. Where it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman, doesn't matter what race you are. Though everybody should be given the same opportunities and everybody treated the same. I know it's not a perfect world. We don't got the perfect utopia. It's not like that though. But that's the way it's written. And that's why we have a Bill of Rights, so people can do the right thing.
Right.
Like for instance, the DOJ, Department of Justice. Not many people know they created that for us, for crimes that were committed against our ancestors in the day after we were free. That's why the DOJ came about. A lot of people don't know that.
Now I hear
It's
what you're
crazy how
saying.
much. It's crazy. I just learned that like a couple years ago. It's crazy how much history they keep from us, though. You know what I mean?
Man, I don't even believe history, man, to tell you the truth. It's a simulation to me.
If you have a spirit of discernment, you can pretty much tell what's fake and what's not.
Right.
You gotta get that from God, though. You know, you gotta have a personal experience of walk with God, or maybe just pray, or just give it to you or something. Like, you know, your thirst for truth is there. I mean, it's not something that's exclusive. Like God just hands it out. You want, hey, yeah, you can have it. That's how loving He is.
I only
Like,
study history for the lessons and contradiction.
Like when I see fake news or I see people talking, not just their body language, like, man, this person's lying. They're just making that up. Or, you know what I mean? That's where that spirit of discernment and intuition comes in, especially in this day and age where the media is our enemy. They are our enemy. Like, when's the last time you seen the media talking about trying to make America better or something, you know? There's always some conflict with something. They're always in the middle of the division. They report it, though, but they also take a side.
But it's tricky because everybody's version of better is different.
That's why we got Constitution, Bill of Rights. That just levels the playing field. You know what I mean?
Right. But they taking it kind of too far, you know, like it's kind of like going a little too far now, you know, as far as, you know, because you know, it's like if we all supposed to have equal rights, but then we have, you know, LTG rights, we have women's rights, we have, you feel what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. But
that's
the thing is, they're not supposed to have any rights more than us.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like it's like we trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. It's like we need
without using the actual laws and the Constitution, Bill of Rights we have in place. Though we went by that, though they wouldn't get no favorable treatment.
I mean,
like when the system, but I see what you're saying, because, like, for instance, though, we had all these judges thinking they were kings, whatever. We thought we had a parliament making all these injunctions that affected the whole nation, even though they're district judges, but they wanted to make rulings for the whole nation. That's an example of the system out of control. And the thing is, it wasn't just like this way just because Trump came along. It's been like this.
Right.
We're just now in the information of exposure and truth, especially with the internet, where the truth is readily available, where they can't really hide these things no more. And plus, their New World Order came crashing and burning down to the ground, especially after they tried that plague from China thing. So they have no choice but for everybody to come out the woodwork and try to defend what they have left. Because these people didn't want to go away peaceful. They just, we'll burn America down into the ground. We'll take it with us. That's their attitude. Same with Iran. The same people. Same mindset.
Well,
same globalist people.
Hold on, John. Anybody else got anything to say? Y'all want to questions, comments, anything y'all want to say? Well, I don't even think they did.
I'm enjoying this content. I'm learning so much. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can chime in anytime you. My bad, John.
No, you're good. I'm about to hop down a little bit, though.
Can I,
go ahead.
John, before you go, can I ask you something? Okay, so with what happened on January 6th, right? So I was thinking like the president was going to come out with a different plan so that doesn't happen again. You know what I mean? Like martial law and things like that. So is that possible? That martial law could go into effect?
It depends on if things really got bad in this country. That would be the only reason. But things have to like be really bad though. It can't just be like one area like LA or a couple cities. It got to be like everywhere.
Okay.
But they do got the
So
sleeper cells, not just Iranians. They do got the sleeper cells to do it though.
in the U.S., we have our own.
In the U.S.,
Oh,
these are the people we let across our border. These are the people are hopping in front of cars. No, don't deport them. No.
So, like, let's say, like, this language is kind of like the suicide bombers. We have those here too. Is that what you're saying?
We have them all. We have Formula. You know how many Hezbollah people they caught out the border? You know how many? Not only that though, but Iranians. That's a problem too. They're sleeper cells. What about China though? China's the bigger issue though, because they had a special deal worked out with Biden where their own people would pick them up from the border and take them wherever, disappear into the U.S. Poof, where'd you go? I don't know, but they did buy a lot of farmland or land in general around 19 military installations though. Gee, I wonder what they're planning.
If I can interject here, Miss Chilling with Love. I heard the question you asked. And if you don't mind me offering my perspective.
No, it's my
yes,
question.
yes, sir.
I'm
Yes, sir. Yes,
playing.
sir. Of course.
You took my question.
I can't see you.
I'm
Mr. Jockey, I'm not trying to step on your toes, sir.
No, you're good.
But I believe that you will understand my sentiment as well. I believe that any American, that the martial law and the concept of it as an American, per the Constitution, that term should be offensive. It should not be on the lips and the tongue of any American. That is the closest thing that we get to a monarchy, the ruler of a king.
Yeah.
That idea should not strike fear, but it should really rile you up.
But the thing is, though,
the concept that could potentially be on the table in America, and no one should even anyone considering enacting or utilizing any act to invoke that should be looked at skeptically.
Here's the thing, though. You can't have people burning down cities, though. You seen what they did.
We have the greatest intelligence
but you
and
seen what they
security
did?
apparatus on the face of the planet. We have the greatest security and intelligence apparatus on the face of the planet. No such thing.
So if China was unleash their sleeper cells, knock on wood, if they unleashed their sleeper cells and started attacking American bases and all this other stuff, and crap just hits the fan, then what do? Martial law? If a bunch of leftists burning down a bunch of cities,
we would know long in advance. We're not
assaulting people.
Mr. John K., it's been a very long time before someone attacked the United States by surprise, if ever.
What do you think the attack from China was? That was a biological weapon attack. We were attacked in 2019 December. That was a biological weapon attack. That wasn't a leak. That was deliberately came from the Wuhan lab. That is a fact. That is a fact.
What about 9/11? What about 9/11?
9/11 was an inside job. That is a fact. Congressional hearings were on it. FBI withheld evidence on it. The CIA said it. That is a fact.
I will say this. They even
told you themselves, the next administration surely is going to have a pandemic. They even talked about, they even talked about the jabs and everything else before they even rolled out. They even had patents on the jabs. So yes, it was deliberate.
As I said, holla, in every instance, we already had a heads up on everything.
Wait, hold on.
We had a heads up on everything that came down the pipe.
1999 when they started funding gain of function. Like I've researched this like up and down. I spent like lots of hours.
You can't cut them off, though. You can't cut them off.
We have the greatest intelligence and security apparatus on the face of the planet. I don't care which instance you name, even dating back to Pearl Harbor. We always had a heads up, whether the ball was dropped or not.
But
we still had
when the Pentagon themselves is caught on record in congressional budgets, when they're caught funding the plague from China, the biological weapon attack on America, on the planet actually, by China and globalists. Intelligence,
We have
intelligence,
far worse
and
than
then
that
not only
in
that,
store.
no, hold on. Not only that, he said we got the greatest intelligence, but our intelligence worked to suppress that evidence. You had to get Freedom of Information Acts and court hearings to get get them facts out. Gee, why is the facts just coming out now? Don't you think that should have been good back in 2020 before they wrote the jabs out? Only 40 billion deaths from the jabs, though. I'm just saying. So that's not a breakdown in intelligence. They told us, oh no, remember this? Oh no, it came from some lady eating a bat. Bull crap. First of all, that bat is the horseshoe bat is a thousand miles away from that in a cave from that lab. And two, if you look at the cell phone activity around there, you'll see what they were doing.
I know exactly what they were doing.
Like they told us they were going to do this though.
No, I know exactly what they were doing. And see, and this is the thing about the truth that, like I said, people, I believe that man or humans.
I just go by the facts, like CIA facts and declassified document facts.
Cut them off.
I believe that the truth is absolute, as is a falsehood.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, humans like to twist the truth to fit whatever ideology suits them.
That's why people just finding out.
As I said, I know the truth of how certain things happened.
So you know the truth about the Wuhan lab?
But everyone is entitled to their own.
You seen
belief.
Anthony Fauci's? You see Anthony Fauci's emails? Do you know what the Eco Health Alliance is? Do you know what Rosemont Seneca is? How that plays a part to ties into Bill Gates and the plague from China? Rosemont Seneca, by the way, was Hunter Biden's firm. And they funded the plague from China. I'm just saying, they were given congressional. Not only that, though, they're given congressional funding, so you can't just say I'm making it up. I'm just saying
that's fine.
Those are facts.
That's fine. That's fine. And all of that,
everything I said,
all of that can be used for evidence.
He said we had the greatest intelligence, though, but I just told you the FBI themselves declassified papers talking about the Wuhan lab.
And if I told you the only reason human hands were on that virus to begin with was to cure the common cold, what would you say then?
Okay, we getting off topic. That's
bullcrap, though.
Well, but see, here's the thing: we're talking about.
I can show you a book. I can show you a book I wrote. I can show you a book I read, though.
We're talking about.
But that's kind of a shaky topic on.
It was deliberately weaponized. It never had no curing functions. The initial.
All right. We ain't gonna talk about that. Man.
So, you're allowed to. Thanks to MAGA, you're allowed to talk about them stuff on the internet now.
So Howard,
we already lost our accounts and got censored and everything else. We lost our jobs.
My thing is
that whatever else they did to people.
So my thing is that you can take any topic and basically, weaponize it for your own purposes. There's a saying.
I can say any topic.
Hold on one second.
I mean, you're wrong because you don't want to look at the facts, though.
One second.
You assume the answer without looking at the facts. I look at both sides of the story. I'm looking at both sides. I spent hundreds of hours looking at.
And you're passionate about it. I hear it. And the investment and the time that you put into it, and I appreciate it for you as well.
I can send you emails, I can send you declassified papers, I can send you books, I can send you everything. I can send you their own words. They're saying what you want to do. Their own words, their confessions.
But there's a saying.
All right, last thing I'll say.
You can find whatever you want to be true on Google.
It's true because they said it. They said it. They said it in their exact words. No words out of context. They said it. FBI declassified documents said it. FBI, they hid the evidence where it came from on purpose.
Okay.
Why do you think so many people got fired? What do you think the purpose was really about, though? Trying to clean up the corrupt people. But yeah, right, you get to throw away the whole FBI because it's all corrupt, though. You got a few good people, I guess, though. But
here's my thing. As a child, I used to play Y. As an adult,
not a lie because you know it's not true, especially when the facts and the truth say otherwise. I'm just saying.
I hear you, and I can appreciate your passion in your pursuit of truth.
Yeah,
But as I said,
truth,
as a child,
the
I used to
official
play
story.
why.
That can't be backed by facts and truth.
The never-ending why. That no
Oh, you want to
matter
know why
what
they?
answer
You want to know
you
why they did it?
receive,
I can tell you why they did it.
no matter what answer you receive, you continue to ask why. I understand that. I'm just saying that for
Yeah,
me,
you ask
as an
you
adult,
ask
I
why, but
don't
when
do
you
that.
get a why, but when you get a why, though, you gotta at least consider the truth. Though, oh, gee, does he have facts? And I'll be darned, he was telling the truth. Trust me, I don't make this stuff up. I don't watch Hulu. I don't hardly pay Xbox no more. You know what I'm doing? I'm researching my heads in the news. Or I'm talking to people, my connections. This is all I do. Trust me. I've been doing this for over 10 years. This is over 10 years of knowledge, though.
The only truth I truly wish to obtain is how we, as a species, learn to find middle ground and live peacefully. Earlier in the conversation, Mr. Kenzo said that these extremes need to learn to live together. And
What are
as
the
he
extremes?
said,
What are
and
the
as he,
extremes,
and as
though?
he
What
said that,
extremes?
well, he was talking about in context of the Middle East. And immediately when he said that, I said, you're proposing an impossibility.
I was about to say that that's impossible. Like, that's prophecy. They've been
Yeah,
fighting since the Bible.
because you just
The
said
Bible
it.
days.
Because he
They've been fighting
just
since the
said it.
Bible. Yeah. I mean,
Good and
I
evil, good and evil will never coexist.
I get exactly where he's coming from. Like, I wish the same thing sometimes. Like, you know, I sit there sometimes like, man, like, why is all this stuff happening? I feel bad. Like, I actually feel bad for people. Like, I really want to know what happened to the 1 million missing migrant children. All these people that said, keep the illegals here. What about the migrant children?
We
Like,
about to
I
wrap it up. We about to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. This was a great build. Appreciate the panelists, chilling, Crook.
Thank you.
CKT, I know how to behave.
No doubt. You sure do.
It was a pleasure. Salute to you.
You already know,
Mr. John K.
Hey, Crook, I'll chop it up with you though. We're gonna Crook, we're gonna change knowledge though, so we're on the same page. Though. I want everybody. I don't want. It ain't about me no more. It's about us knowing more because we're all on the same team. Feel me?
One America. No doubt.
One America, one nation, one God.
Salute.
All right, salute. I'm hopping down.
No doubt.
All right, chilling, KT.
Salute to the members. Salute to the chat. Salute to everybody who watching from the stands. Salute to everybody on the replay. Gio, I see you. Just be Sunshine is in the building. Catch y'all on the next one. I'll at your boy. Ming, salute. I ain't forget about you, my brother. Appreciate you. Rich Martinez.